We get energy from three main sources in our diet, from carbohydrates, from protein, and from fat. But only two of those, the protein and fat, are what are considered essential nutrients.
Have you heard of the carnivore diet yet? You're eating meat and drinking water, and that's it. You can salt to taste. Eat fatty meat. Fat's very important. You can eat organs if you want, but you don't have to.
The lowest level of carbohydrate intake that is consistent with good health is exactly 0.
No plants, no sugar, nothing artificial. And that goes for sauces, seasonings, and drinks as well.
Your body does need sugar in the form of glucose for whatever reason. It can actually make it through a process called gluconeogenesis. There is absolutely no need to ingest carbohydrates to be in good health.
The exact dietary requirement for human beings for exogenous carbohydrate in the diet is not 1 gram ever. Whether that person is an athlete or not, those are just the facts, okay?
Focus on ruminant animals as the majority of your meat intake. You are to eat as our ancestors did. When you're hungry, you sit down and you eat until you're comfortably stuffed. Eat fatty meat when you're hungry. There is no calorie counting, there is no portion control. Eat until you're satiated, so you eat until it stops tasting good.
Animal foods, which contain saturated fats, are healthy.
Cook in animal fats. So beef tallow in bacon grease, butter or ghee.
In actual fact, it's the polyunsaturated fats which are found in the things we call vegetable oils, which come from seeds, which are quite deleterious and bad for our health.
Throw away all the vegetable oils, all the shortening, all of that junk. That stuff is very inflammatory and bad for you.
For the last 4.5 million years, give or take, humans and immediately pre-human species have lived on this planet under a given lifestyle, that lifestyle being obligate hyper-carnivore. How do we know that is true? How do we know that is definitely true? None of us were alive 4.5 million years ago. Am I just guessing here? No. Here's why not. What we can do is a thing called stable isotope testing. What we can do is we can find the human and immediately pre-human remains. There are skeletal structures, long bones that are left behind. We can find those all over the world. We can open those long bones up and we can get some collagen out of those bones. Collagen is a protein. It's the most common protein in the human body, and you'll find a significant amount in long bones. Collagen is a very stable protein. It dries out obviously after the body dies, but it remains intact for tens and hundreds of thousands of years. No problem at all. Millennia later even. We can analyze the makeup of that collagen in terms of the stable isotope makeups, in terms of the carbon and the nitrogen found in that collagen in those long bones. And that tells us, slam dunk, no question, no debate, no if, no but. It tells us what that individual definitely ate, down to the specific speciation of animals that human being was predating on and eating. And what that data tells us is that human beings, for at least 350,000 years, which is as long as human beings have existed in our current form, we have definitely, unequivocally eaten a diet which consisted 80% the flesh and fat of large ruminant animals, 20% very, very fibrous, very, very starch poor roots and tubers, basically very, very fibrous materials. And that 20% of fibrous materials were stuff that we were digging up, collecting, taking home, boiling the hell out of probably, and eating as some kind of gruely slop type stuff to subsist when the hunt was unsuccessful or the animals were not there to predate upon.
We should freely consume meat, eggs and dairy and not worry about the saturated fat. What about the nutrients? Haven't we been told that we need to eat vegetables for the nutrients? Well, vegetables are less nutrient dense than animal foods. Eggs, for instance, they are nature's multivitamin. Contained within each yolk is all the nutrients required to support life. You can't say that about a single vegetable. The thing to understand is that's exactly what the science shows. It hasn't been communicated accurately to either the medical profession itself or to the public. Vegetarian and vegan diets pushed so strongly through scientific and medical circles is through this fallacious belief that saturated fats are dangerous. Countries like Hong Kong, which is the highest meat consumers in the world. They also have the longest life expectancy in the world.
Hong Kong, where they eat a pound of meat a day, which is nothing compared to what we eat, and they live longer than anyone else on the planet, and they have the highest IQ, incidentally, which is kind of interesting. The U.S. healthcare sector puts out 10% of our greenhouse gases, and so if we want to make that argument, then we can say, well, what does animal agriculture put out in the United States? Well, it's 4%. This is all EPA data. So you're like, well, and cows are 2%. So you're like, well, what if I'm not sick anymore? I've just taken away from contributing to 10% of the greenhouse gases, and I'm contributing to the 2%. And that's just an easy metric to do. $5 trillion and growing every year in healthcare. And what do we have to show for it in the U.S.? The fattest, sickest, weakest, disabled, depressed population on the planet.
Vegan diet, eating only vegetables without supplementing, you would end up getting very, very sick due to deficiencies like B12 deficiency.
Cries about saving the planet and doing the right thing ethically. How did industry respond? And we see it. It's Beyond Meat. It's the Impossible Burger. Well, what is it? That's just more chemical processed garbage. And I know Neil Bernard was on here saying, well, it's perfect. Look at the ingredients. It's literally garbage for us.
So I would ask, is a diet that you have to supplement on to stay alive, is that really nutritionally optimal? Patients I see who are on the carnivore diet actually don't supplement at all. And when I look at their results, we don't see evidence of nutrient deficiency.
Many people worry about vitamin C deficiency, scurvy, and other vitamin deficiencies on a carnivore diet. But I know people who have been doing a carnivore diet for over a decade, and they've not eaten a shred of plant food in that time, and they don't take supplements, and they have not developed scurvy or any other vitamin deficiency.
How many people here have gotten scurvy? One? None? No. So we can conclusively say that winning the lottery or getting struck by lightning is equally as probabilistic as getting scurvy on this diet.
Animal foods, including meat, contain vitamin C. Vitamin C is very interesting. So first of all, molecularly, it's very, very similar to glucose. So when you ingest vitamin C, it's actually competing with glucose to get into the cells of your body. So people on carnivore diets who aren't consuming the glucose in the first place, they actually absorb more of the vitamin C. This is not new science. It's just not well known that we can get all the nutrients we require from animal foods. Even if we are consuming nutrients, there's other factors in plant foods called anti-nutrients, which can actually block their absorption. This study found that 52% of vegans were deficient in B12. If you're low in B12, that affects your intelligence. And if we're trying to have healthy, robust children that are growing, their brains are developing, they absolutely need animal nutrition. Subjects who went on that zero-fiber diet had complete resolution of all of their symptoms of constipation. Pain, bleeding, bloating, strain opening their bowels. That's really like adding extra cars to a traffic jam and thinking that somehow those extra cars are going to clear the traffic jam. It's just going to make the jam worse.
Some people notice some of the benefits of a carnivore diet almost immediately, within days. Other benefits take weeks, if not months. The amazing transformations in both health and weight loss that people experience when they give it a try. So I would encourage you to do at least a 30-day carnivore challenge, if not a 60 or 90 day, depending on what health or weight issues you have. Do not be afraid of salt. Salt to taste. If your meat is not salty enough, add more salt. This is very, very important to help fight the carbohydrate withdrawal symptoms, but also to give your body enough sodium and chloride, both of which are essential in order to function optimally. Do not be afraid of salt.
We eat more calories in soybean oil than we do beef today. This is a shocking fact.
As an average, you're saying?
As an average, right. And yet, what's going on with our disease rates? They're going up.
Ideology of I'm not going to harm other sentient beings, which is noble and it sounds like a great idea, but you get wrapped up into that.
It's the greenhouse gas, which is sort of a hot topic right now.
Cowspiracy went deep into that, right?
Yeah, and they had some really weird numbers from the World Resource Institute. That's been totally debunked.
You didn't buy the CO2 or the methane numbers.
Well, the cows breathing CO2 out was a greenhouse gas pollutant. That's been completely dismissed. But
you're on this carnivore diet now.
Yes, all of the motivation for this has been my experience with my daughter because she has an unbelievably serious autoimmune disease. It's arthritis. but there's way more to it than that. But the arthritis was the major set of symptoms. She had 40 affected joints, her hip replaced and her ankle replaced when she was 15 and 16. And so she basically hobbled around on 2 broken legs for 2 years in extreme agony. And she was also seriously depressed, like severely depressed, way worse than you think. She couldn't stay awake for more than about 6 hours without taking Ritalin. She is doing so well now, it is absolutely beyond comprehension. She's very trim. She had a baby, but she's very trim. She's down to about 118 pounds. She's about 5'6". She's just glowing with health. All of her autoimmune symptoms are gone. A bunch of things improved. Then her depression went away. Well, one of the things Michaela told me was she thought, well, what's it like to be depressed? Well, imagine you have a dog and you really love the dog, and then the dog dies. And then about 3 years ago, our dog died. That was Michaela's dog, and she really liked that dog. And she said, that was bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as being depressed. Anyways, her depression went away. All these symptoms went away, and like radically. She started to add things back and take them away, and sometimes when she added things, the results were devastating. She was like done for a month. She ate the wrong thing, done for a month. She figured out that she could only eat beef. 2 years ago, she said, Dad, you have to try this diet because you have a lot of the same symptoms as me. I stopped snoring the first week. I started waking up in the mornings. I'd never been able to wake up in the mornings my whole life. I always had to stumble to the shower. And so all of a sudden I woke up and it was like, oh, look at that. I'm awake in the morning and I'm clear-headed and things aren't gloomy and horrible. It's like, well, isn't that weird? Then I lost 7 pounds the first month. 7 pounds, that's a lot in a month. And I'd already gone for a whole year on a sugar-free diet and I didn't lose any weight. Then I lost 7 pounds the next month. Then I lost 7 pounds the next month. I lost 7 pounds every month for 7 months. It's like I had to throw away all my clothes. And my psoriasis disappeared. And I had floaters in my right eye and they cleared up. The last thing that went away for me, I was still having a bitch of a time with mood regulation. And that sucked because when I changed my diet, I didn't respond to antidepressants properly anymore. They weren't working. Quit eating greens. And I thought, oh, really? Jesus, Michaela, I'm eating cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, chicken, and beef. It's like I have to cut out the goddamn greens? Try it for a month. Okay. Within a week, I was 25% less anxious in the morning. Within 2 weeks, 75%. And I've been better every single day. I'm better now, probably, than I've ever been in my life. And I haven't been taking antidepressants for a whole year. And I've actually gained musculature. I can sleep 6 hours a night. Here's the coolest thing. I've had gum disease since I was 25. It's gone. My legs were numb on the sides. That's gone. I'm certainly intellectually at my best at the moment, which is a great relief, especially doing this tour.
Do you take any vitamins?
No. No, I eat beef and salt and water. That's it. And I never cheat. Here's a question. Why is everyone fat and stupid? That's a question, man. Because it's new.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's new. And it's not sedentary lifestyle. What's wrong is that we're eating way too many carbohydrates.
I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 20 years of clinical experience and over a year and a half of experience with the carnivore diet.
I'm a sports and exercise medicine physician. So basically that means, in addition to my medical degree, I've got fellowship training in dealing with athletes and other issues like that. So I guess this specialty that I'm in lends itself very well to optimizing our health.
My name is Dr. Anthony Chafee. I'm a neurosurgical resident currently practicing in Perth, Australia, though I'm from America. I played professional rugby for 10 years before medical school, and I've been doing research into diet and nutrition and how that affects the body and chronic disease and athletic performance for probably 24 years now, and have come across the full sort of carnivore lifestyle and advocate for that and live it myself.
Welcome, Professor Bart Kay. I come from a background of 25 years or so in academia as a senior lecturer, professor of health science. I started out actually first and foremost as an exercise physiologist, so I studied the physiology of rest and exercise. From there I branched into human nutrition. Then finally, for the last part of my career, I became a specialized cardiovascular pathophysiologist. I also have some advanced qualifications in statistics, statistical inference, pure and applied mathematics of scientific inference, research design, ethics, that kind of stuff.
My name is Dr. Sean Baker. I am by training an orthopedic surgeon. About 10 years ago, I got interested in diet and nutrition for my own personal reasons. At one point, I went on a ketogenic diet, started to see a lot of improvements on patients that I was trying it on that had various orthopedic conditions, and it seemed to help significantly with joint pain. Eventually, I discovered a group of people that were doing an all-meat diet, and I started doing that myself 6 years ago. You know, I've been basically an advocate for meat in the diet. Thousands and thousands of people now that have resolved all sorts of health issues, you know, whether it's autoimmune conditions, whether it's gut issues, whether it's arthritis, whether it's mental health issues, you know, diabetes, reverse chronic disease, get people off meds. Kind of me in a quick overview.
Okay.